Welcome to this tutorial on processing HL7 and FHIR in the cloud. There are a few reasons you might need to do this. If you have a cloud-based medical software, you'll most certainly be asked to accept a patient feed, and you'll need to support both FHIR and HL7 in their different incantations. It goes for outbound messages too. Do you need to send HL7 from your product? Or perhaps you've got two disparate systems sitting behind a firewall, so you can't push data to them. Well, you could have a cloud relay in the middle. One system sends its message to the cloud, it queues them up, then the other system can poll for them. No ports needed opening here. Plus, many other fantastic cloud-based solutions that you might need an integration engine sitting in the cloud, directing, transforming, and converting your data. If you've used Integration Host before, you'll know it can easily be configured to do all these things and more. But if you're new to it, then you might want to check out the introduction video as well as the Getting Started tutorials, and that will give you a bit of an overview. You're always welcome to ask advice from the HL7 team, and they can give you solid guidance and support also. Here though, I'm going to show you how easy it is to get a cloud-based integration up and running in your cloud environment. I'm going to be using Microsoft's Azure in this example. But if you repackaged, you could probably get it going in Amazon's AWS or other cloud systems without too much effort. I'm assuming that you have already signed up for an Azure trial. It's not going to cost you anything to follow along and try out the solution. Also, you'll need to install the Integration Host trial on your computer, as we're going to remotely monitor and control the cloud service from here. So let's start in the Azure portal by creating a storage account for the upload of the service. Click Add, and we don't have a resource group at the moment to add it to, so I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call it Integration Host Resources. And click OK. And now I need to create the storage account by name, and that all needs to be lowercase. I'm going to call it Integration Host Storage, and then I'm going to choose a location that's closest to me. We don't need to have expensive storage, but I'm just going to take all the defaults, put that down to cool. Click Review and Create. And once it's validated, I can click Create. Okay, that's going to start creating the storage account for me. Okay, so I've got the storage created. So now let's go and take a look at the HL7 soup zip file. Here I have downloaded the zip file from the website. And I'm just going to take all the files outside of it, copy, and I'm just going to place them into another directory for my processing. So what do we have here? We've got a package file that's for uploading to the server that contains the actual cloud service, the configuration of that cloud service, and finally a test certificate that's used to create the SSL connection. One thing of note is this certificate has its private key included, and because I'm deploying it to the world, consider it unsafe. However, it's fine for testing out the system, and the integration is configured to use it. We'll show you how to replace it in part 2 of this tutorial, but for now, let's continue with the creation of this service. So I'm going to click on the Home button, and I'm going to create a new resource, and I'm going to search for Cloud Service. Select that and click Create. Okay, now I need to provide it with a unique name and select my resource group. Set the location to match where I created the storage account, and then I need to upload the package. I give it a name and then select the storage account so that we upload into that. And now it's just a matter of selecting my package and the config file as well. I'm going to put it into production, click OK, and add my certificate. So I can select this unsecure test certificate. Again, this is just for testing. And the password on that certificate is HL7 soup, all lowercase. Attach. Once it's uploaded, click OK, and now we'll create the service. This is going to take a little while. I'm going to head into my resource group, select my newly created resource, and here's the service that we created. And I'm going to keep refreshing until we find our service deployed. Okay, so that started up. That took about 10 minutes in real time. As you can see, the service is now running. So now I'm going to load up the integration host client, and we're going to start by redirecting it to this cloud service. So I'm going to click on the menu system and choose to redirect the server. And now I just need an address for that server. We can see over here it is. Copy that. Back to the settings. And I'm going to put in that address and delete this // and make sure that we put the HTTPS back in and then select OK. Okay, so now it's going to want us to enter in the license number. So great, now our client is pointing at the cloud server. We can actually create a process that's going to listen and start processing messages. So let's do what it says. I'm going to click New. And this will load up the workflow designer. And by default, this cloud service is configured to listen on HTTPS. And we're just going to create a default service. So the port that is going to be required is port 22222. This is required because the cloud service by default is configured to listen on this port. It's also configured to listen on HTTPS. So make sure you select both of those before you go ahead. I'm going to copy this address because we are going to be sending to it shortly, but that's all I needed to configure to get this up and running. So I'll hit save and close, and that will publish that workflow up to that service. Now we are listening on that address. So now I just need to send a test message to it. I'm going to use the HL7 soup editor. So start, I'll load it up, and I'm going to go to the senders and create a new one to send messages to this address. We were selected to be on HTTP, so I'll go to that, and we're just going to paste in that URL that we copied before. By default, it did give me the address of my local computer, so once again, I'm just going to copy that back here, paste this in, make sure it's HTTPS, get rid of that /. I can test it. And that's successful. I didn't choose any authentication, which I probably should have. So let's go back and edit that. I'm just going to adjust by double clicking on it. Open it up. Select authentication. Username test. Password test. And then I just hit save and close. That's going to republish and put that back on the server. So now if I was to test it, it fails, not authorized. So let's put that authentication in. Test, test, and test again. Great, successful. So save and close. Back to HL7 soup and hit messages, and we want to send those messages through to the server. All I have to do is hit play, and it's going to start sending one message at a time to the server. And that, my friends, is how simple it is to get a test system set up in the cloud. I can now edit that workflow and instruct it to transform the data, send it on, write to a database, you name it. In part 2, we'll show you how to replace the insecure certificate with your own, as well as how to create additional endpoints so you can run multiple workflows in the same cloud service. After all, a penny saved is a penny earned. If this video has helped you, then why not return the favor, give us a like, and of course click on the subscribe button, maybe even ring the bell to be notified of our latest content. Don't forget to take a look at the integration host getting started tutorials if you'd like to learn more about the next steps in creating your integration.